3, 2, 1, go. Alright, what's up guys? So today we're going to make this little character. This is the artist Rihnlin. On Instagram, I did reach out to ask if I could 3D sculpt some of these amazing little frogs and creatures. This one would be so fun to make. We're probably going to do a bunch of these. They're a lot of fun. So I just wanted to show my support for another amazing artist. So make sure you go check them out. I love this stuff. Oh, look at the little plant. I get so inspired by stuff like this. I love it. All right, let's get back to the tutorial. So let's open Nomad Sculpt, and I'm going to hit front just so we're nice front and center. And I never use this sphere because it's like really big. So I'm just going to delete this sphere and add a new one. I don't even know if I'll use it, but it just feels better. So I'm just going to move this up a little bit. I want to add a little, I always add a little floor so I can get rid of this grid. So we'll just add a cylinder. And we'll take our gizmo, we'll make it a little bit bigger. And then we'll use this little green thing to smush it like that. And I like to just line it up right with that red line, right with the horizon line. So now we'll tap on that, we'll tap the 3 dots and just bring this to 2, and it should get nice and rounded out. Okay, so now this will be the floor. So FLR will suffice. So of course I always like to make sure that I'm in orthographic to sculpt. Okay, that's better. I'm going to turn off the grid. And then I'm going to change it in the lighting panel from lit PBR to matte cap. I always sculpt with matte cap, it's just easier to see. Let me recalibrate this, make sure you guys can see everything nice and clearly. All right, so let's bring in the image. So reference image, tap here. I had so much fun doing that little monster. And we will import photos. We'll import this, add. Okay, let's transform it. Oop. Back here and transform. Okay, so we'll put it about right there since we're going to do this one. Tap on the screen again and it goes back to sculpting. Okay, so as you can see, it's like a little, how I see this is it's a sphere, a squash sphere with more of a flat front. So this sphere will be the body. So I'm just going to name it body and go ahead and validate it. So let's just flatten it out a little bit, and let's take move. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Return on symmetry, and let's do the X and the Z so we can do the cross section. And if you don't see your lines, just make sure you go here and hit show line. So now I want to make this a little bit bigger, and we're just going to try to flatten out the bottom a little bit by just pressing on the bottom. Make sure you have symmetry on. So we're just going to flatten up the bottom, and you can probably bring the sides down a bit. Make sure you turn it so you're bringing all the sides down kind of equally. So you have like a nice cute little bun there. Okay, so now let's move this bun down with the gizmo. Okay, so now we'll take move, and we need to, we basically just want to make this sort of shape. Now, when I think about this, I'm thinking about this straight on. So not like it's off to the side. So when I do everything's going to be straight on. You know, I never actually realized how much this artist had inspired me, because I made all these little frogs and they actually do look a lot like these frogs. So let's just bring down the bottom, bring down the sides a little bit. And so you just have like a cute little bun. I think that looks pretty good. I think that's a cute bun. So I think that should work. And I think it would be a little bit, I'm going to turn off the Z axis in the symmetry. I want to turn that off because now I want to bring the back down because it's like a slope. So it seems like it would be sloped, so I want to move the back down some. So it's like his little frog butt is sitting. I don't think it would be too long, so I'm going to kind of shorten it up. But I think something like that is pretty good. Okay, looking at the top. So the front is here. Now looking at the top, it's a little wide, so I'm going to make the move tool a bit bigger and just kind of okay, that feels a bit better. Let's look at the left again. Still looks okay. Push it down. So front looks okay. Maybe a little bit higher in the front. Just make sure the sides are poofed in. Okay, that looks good. So that looks like a good little bun frog shape. Got the little taper in the back. Oh, also, this part has to be down to the ground as well. So let's just drag that down so it's nice and flat. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So also, the front part should be flat, so this front part we could use flatten, but for now, since we're using the move tool, we can just push in the middle a bit. Like so. So I think that looks pretty good. So there's actually a lot of shaping to such like a seemingly simple shape. There's actually a lot that usually goes into it. I don't want it to be too flat, so I'm just bringing out the belly a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm going to take smooth and just kind of smooth it out a bit. And I'm going to voxel remesh it around 150. And then I'm going to smooth it. Should smooth out any wrinkles that might have happened. And just make it a little bit more sturdy. So now I want to, we can add these little things for eyes. So these sort of look like, I think we can just use spheres again for that. So I'm going to add a sphere, use the gizmo, we'll bring it up, shrink it, and we're going to tap here and just use the mirror. So we'll tap gizmo again and we'll move this to the front and over. So we can have our eyes. Okay, so this is going to be fairly important, how we do the eyes. So let's turn to the side, and first let's flatten them up like this. And I think I want to tilt them forward. So see how the gizmo turns with our eye? Like as we turn the eye, tap align, and then it's just going to align to the project, and it won't do that. So now we can just move it straight up. I think somewhere like that. But we need to, let's see. So mine looks a little too high, I think. Or maybe the eyes look a little bit too, maybe they're a little bit too big. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the body and use move, and I'm gonna drag these. I want to drag these sides out a bit. And drag them a little bit more to the ground. And maybe flatten this top a little bit more. Okay. So I think that might give me a little bit more leeway to move the eyes, whoops, over a little bit. So something like this. I think that's pretty good. They look a little too far away now. So I actually want to stretch them up too. feel like they should be up further, which means, actually they still look okay. I think that's pretty good. Part of me wants to use the move tool and just take this and move it slightly forward. Something like that. Maybe take the pieces that are close to the bottom of the eye, like right here, and just lift them up a bit. Okay. So I'm going to take the eyes and just move them down a little bit. Maybe I'll even turn them a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and validate them. And then I would like to take move. We don't need symmetry for this. And I think I just want to stretch them down and just stretch that just stretch them down a little bit. So so they're a little more in line with the body. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I think that'll work. So let's take, I don't know if I should move it up more or push the middle part back. Let's push the middle part back a little bit. Okay. I just want them to be a little bit closer together. And I'm going to bring the body up a little bit more here. Yeah, there we go. I think that helps. That helped a lot. So essentially I just had it so it's a little bit more in line with the body. So I just took the body and moved it up there. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, it's like, it seems like a very simple character, but there's like these small details that really make it look good. Like if you can see from this angle, you can see the eye goes around and it's attached to that side of the body, which is in the front of the face. So I'm trying to pay attention to all of that, and all this front of the face is kind of flat. So I'm just trying to like work all that out. Okay, good. So this, you know what the best way to make that is? I think, so this is the body. We have the mirror for the eyes. I'm going to name this mirror eyes. I'm going to save the project. Oh, I think I spelled it wrong. Rihnlin froggo. Hopefully I spelled it right. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, so I think that looks good. So we have this general shape. The arms should be fairly easy. Oh, I was going to do the mushroom. So let's add another sphere. We'll use Gizmo. We'll bring it straight up. We'll make it bigger. So it's bigger than the circumference of his body. So let's validate it so we can use move. And let's do X and Z again. Symmetry. We'll turn the move tool up. Let's move this up so we can see it completely. And go back to the move tool. So now I just want to push the bottom side up until we kind of get what we need. Let's shrink it. So I think something like that. I don't want to go too crazy with it. The only thing that I don't, it's not as round of a mushroom. It's a little bit more, the angle's a little bit more straight. So let's see if we can do that by pressing down here. I'm going to turn it and continue to turn it so that it's a bit more of an equal straightening. So hopefully you can kind of see the difference in that. That actually works well. So I'm just pressing on the middle section and then lightly like just turning it and pressing on the middle section so that it's closer to the shape we need. Obviously this is way more shallow, but we can just use our gizmo and we can make it more shallow like that. So I think that's a pretty good likeness. And to make these other little pieces, we can use spheres and we can use radial. So this sphere is mushroom, do a quick save. And then let's add another sphere. And we use our gizmo to bring it up. We'll shrink it. And we'll stretch it out like this. So I think that makes sense. So we'll move it up. And let's spin it. And then move it out to the end. So now I'm just kind of just trying to make a similar to the art. So maybe I'll tilt it down a little bit more. I'm going to turn on a line so you can kind of see how I'm tilting it better. But they don't actually come out. It looks like they only show like a little bit on the inside. So maybe something like that. Maybe I'll flatten it a little bit more. So that one looks good. Maybe we'll stretch it a little bit more. And maybe we'll stretch it this way a little bit. So that looks pretty good. So we just have to use radial and we can make a bunch of those. So this sphere, I will go ahead and validate, and then I'll do add and radial. And you can see we have 4, so it looks like we need more than 4. Something like that, maybe. Okay, I think that's good. So yeah, I think that looks good. So we'll do this mushroom underplumps. That's the technical name for them. And yeah, so now that's pretty good. So we can add these little things. Oh, actually, we can probably add those with the stamp tool. Yeah, we can probably do the stamp tool. Actually, we'll probably save some time. If that's going to be the top and the same color as underneath, we can do it with spheres. It's a little labor intensive, but not too bad. So yeah, you can just like add spheres. You can move them as you need. Oh yeah, it is a little bit annoying that you have to kind of form fit them to the mushroom. But that's okay. So just add your sphere. I guess we can validate it. We'll call this mush bumps. And we'll clone it, and we'll just connect these two. So now we'll take the other one and we'll just put it somewhere else. Maybe we'll put it on the front. You just have to move the gizmo around and just kind of make it look right. So it's a good time to kind of just zen out and relax and make a bunch of bumps. So I'm going to fast forward through this. Hey, what's up guys? So at this point, what I would do is just pause this video and go ahead and make all of the little bumps on the mushroom. You can do as many or as little as you want, as big or as small. I like to go for a varied kind of mushroom, so I add a bunch of, big ones, small ones, medium-sized ones. But just take as long as you need to and make all your bumps, and then you can come back and keep going with the tutorial. Okay, let's see. All right, so now I think those are sufficient little bumpes. So let's take a look at the front. And I actually want to twist all of these. Where's a good front? I feel like this would be a good front if I had one more. So we'll just add this last one in. A little bit bigger maybe. Okay. So we can go front and looks pretty good. All right, so now we can, maybe we'll push this down a little bit. Oh, yeah, forgot they're all together. Let's see if we can touch this one separately. Oh, yeah. Is that the top one? Oh, it is the top one. Oh, let's change this to vertex, and then it should only move that one. Yes. Okay, good. Change it back to automatic. So now this thing is resting on the top of his head. So we can take this, we can take all of these and this. Are those all the mushroom things? Oh, mushroom bumps. I think, oh, that's this, what is this? I don't know what that is. But I think we should move it too. Oh. Under plumps. We forgot the under plumps. So we'll move all of this down. And then we'll tilt it back. Like so. And I think that's pretty good. Actually, these need to be a little bit longer. These little thingies, they need to be a little bit longer. And so let's stretch them out with this. We might need to add a couple more. Oh, do we need to add a couple more? Let's skinny them up. And let's take move and let's expand. Let's turn symmetry on and let's expand how wide they are at the end. Okay, so that's better. But I think we need to, maybe we need to pull the ends up, out more. And we need to just shrink them all, and then we need to still expand the very tip, but shrink like the body, I think. So let me try to solo this and just push on the side. I think that's a little better. And it might not hurt to add another one. So if we go to the mushroom, let's see what happens if we add a couple more. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's choose this one. I'm just gonna push it a little bit so that's a little bit flatter. Okay. And maybe I'll move the whole thing up a smidge. All right, let's take this thing and let's use clay and sub, and let's try to sub this a little bit, and then just smooth it. Let's just smooth it out. Okay. So now we can take all of these and the mushroom underplumps, and we'll put it back down over his head. We'll tilt it back. Let's take a look on the side. So I think it would be something kind of like this. I think that looks pretty good. It would be like this. That's what the actual art is like. And don't remember, we're in orthographic, so perspective might look a little different, but I think that's pretty good. Maybe we'll shrink the whole thing a little bit, maybe make it a little bit bigger and shrink it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to tilt it back a little bit more. And then I'm going to use a line so I can just move it straight up. Okay, I think that feels good. It feels like it's really resting. He's really resting in there. It feels like it's really cradling his little frog butt. Okay, so that's good. That's what we need. So now I would like to make some space for his eyes. And I don't think we want to tilt it. I don't think we want to tilt it anymore, but let's try. Let's see if we can. Where's our gizmo? Where's our gizmo? Let's do pivot, center, pivot. And maybe we'll just tilt it a little bit more. I think that's good. So let's deal with these things. So these spheres, let's tap gizmo so we can bring up the options. And let's validate. And do I want to join children? It's tricky because let's uninstance. So now let's go to the two that are, maybe we might be able to use, no, I don't think we can use symmetry actually. So now we're dealing with this one, and I just want to push it up a little bit, as though his eye is pushing it up. Same thing on this one. I'm just going to use move and push up. So it looks like the eyes are kind of pushing them up, or it looks like it's resting on the eyes. So I just have to touch each one before I work on it. Okay, that's good. I think that's perfect. Okay, so another thing, I'm looking from the front, and it looks like his body might be a little more plump, maybe towards the back. So I'm just going to pull it out a little bit and just give him a little more pudge on the sides. Making sure I'm bringing it down to the ground. Otherwise, the character might look like there's no weight to it. So that's why, usually things spread out on the ground. All right, so speaking of the ground, let's trim this, because right now, if we solo it, it goes beneath the ground. So I'm going to use rectangle and just make a rectangle. And I'm going to go right underneath that horizon line. So there's a tiny bit of space like that. I think that'll work. Here's what it looks like. Do a quick save. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty good. So I'm looking at this, and these eyes are actually quite round. They don't really have any sort of point to them. They're very, very round. So I want to do that with these eyes. We don't need symmetry, so we just need to make the eyes a little bit more round by kind of spreading out the top. And there's a decent amount of space between the eyes, so you kind of have to pay attention to that as well. Okay, I think that looks good. I think that's enough space. Okay, I think that looks good. So I think we can, let's add the little feet, the little feeties. So this should be pretty easy. We have all the mushroom stuff. These are the mushroom underplumps. That's the official term. And now let's make the little arms. So body, sphere, I think is the best thing to use. So we'll use gizmo and move it up so we can see it. We'll shrink it. We'll mirror it. So let's separate them a little bit. Actually, let's not mirror it. Not yet. So they're just little tiny like bumps. Yeah, I like it better with the sphere. I think that's going to be better. They're really tiny, so let's stretch them out a little bit. And let's go to, let's validate, and let's go to symmetry. We can enable it. We'll do X and Z again. Do we need to do Z? Let's try Z. So we'll use move, and we need to just make like a little point. Let's make sure symmetry is on. And let's turn off the Z. Actually, we don't actually need it. So I'm going to push on the back to kind of flatten that out a bit. Maybe even on the front too. And I need to just make this a little bit sharper. Not sharp, but you know what I mean. So I feel like that's probably pretty good. So now I'm going to move this into position. Oh, I can turn symmetry off. And we'll move it over a little bit. We'll move it down. We'll make it a little smaller. So let's go ahead and add a mirror. So now we'll go ahead and shrink it down. We'll move them up a little bit. And how small are they? So they're about as small as the pupils. So this actually is a good size, I think, for them. So there actually would be apart. And I'm going to use move, and I'm going to turn symmetry off. And I'm just going to move this side. Move them, push them a little bit too. So now I'll move them a little bit closer, and I'm going to tilt them towards each other. And we can push them back into the body a bit more because they're very, very tiny. I think that's good. So let's do a quick save. Okay, so I think we can voxel remesh the body together. Yeah. I'm gonna spread the eyes a little bit more. Yeah. Excuse me. So now I want to take the eyes. I'm just gonna let's undo that. We're gonna validate and then join children. So those are the eyes. Let's see what size they are. 12.2K. The body is 56K. These are, okay, these are really small, so let's go here, multi-res, and subdivide. The eyes, I'm going to subdivide as well. Oh, I kind of want to give him a little tail, too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he has one, but I feel like he would have like a little, tiny little toad tail. Just like a little nub. Okay, so if I'm going to do that, then I need to validate it. I need to trim it. Oh, actually, let's make sure it's like down far enough. Yeah, there we go. Something a little bit more like that. Okay, now I'll hit right and then just trim it. Okay. So this sphere, I'm going to multi-res. I'm going to subdivide it. I'll subdivide it. Oh no, I'll undo that. So I'll subdivide it, and I just want to join it with the arms. Where are the arms? Are these the arms? Let's validate the arms, and we can take this. Yep, that's the arms. So we take the arms in that little sphere we just did, and for now we can just join them, and this will be the arms. arms, eyes. Let's go back to the front. So arms, eyes, and body. Do a quick save. And then these we can remesh together. So let's do voxel remesh. We'll do 200. Okay. So now we can smooth with symmetry on. We can smooth these eyes. And I'm going to gently smooth these little legs. And smooth, tail's rising up. Gently smooth out the little tail. Okay, everything looks good. So now there's a little section for the mouth. And I think I might just use crease for this. Yeah, let's try crease and see how that goes. So crease, make it really small. So it's right up against that top line of the head, right in between the eyes. I'll do a little bit more depth at the corners. Okay, so the mouth I made is a little too big and it's a little too low. And if you're having issues, or if this makes you nervous like it does me, you can add a layer. So once you add a layer, and this can be mouth, so you can add a layer. Let's make a smaller mouth, up a little bit higher. And then let's add a little bit of depth to the very end. So something like that. Okay, I want to do a pose just like the artwork. That looks okay. So now, for these, I think I want to use I do want to print this guy. So I'm sort of thinking I want to use a cylinder. I'm just going to solo the cylinder, and then I'm going to validate it, and then I'm going to add a sphere. My knees are so sore. I'll bring that sphere up till it's right level with. Maybe I'll take a little bit of that off. So something like that. Okay, so I think I want to use something like that. And you know, with this, I can actually just, oh, you know what? I already, didn't I? I already made it so it's not, so I don't have those options. Do I want to go back to those options? The only thing I'm thinking is that it might be good to taper this. It's not that difficult. I can just delete the cylinder and then add a new cylinder. It's at the same spot. I can hit radius, and then I can do what I'm talking about. It's a little more tricky for the top, though. I guess that's the only thing. But I think I have a solution for that as well. Oh, I can't do select mask. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, it's okay. Let's start from the beginning. So new cylinder, hit radius, shrink it, so I have a nice, so it'll be easier to put in when we do the 3D print. So I think that's good. So now what I'm going to do is add another cylinder and shrink it up this way. Maybe not even that much. So just kind of like this. And then I'll take the old cylinder, which I think we can now validate. Ooh. Yeah, that's fine. And then we can take the gizmo and move it back until it lines up, which I think is here. So I think that's what I want. So let's make sure everything is validated. Sphere is validated. We can take it off solo if you soloed. And everything is just in the way. So I'm going to grab all of these and just move them up so we can see them. Do a quick save. So now that we have this, I think this will be great for the eyes. So let's just voxel remesh them together. So we'll remesh them together at like 150. And then you can do round edge if you have it. But it might be easier to just do regular smooth with symmetry. I'm going to turn on Z as well, just to save myself some time. Smoothing. Okay, and then we have something like this. Okay, so that looks perfect. So this will be the eye. Everything else is labeled. How big is this eye? The eye's pretty big. We'll leave it for now. Okay, so we have our eyes. Let's tap snap and 90. And we'll snap it 90 degrees. And we'll move it sorted down into position. And we'll just do one in position, and then we can just mirror it. Maybe a little smaller. We'll move it in. And then we just have to find the home for it, which I think is probably about right there. I'm trying to tell if these are completely circular or if there's a little bit of that. But I think they're completely circle. I think they would be completely circular. So the one tricky thing about printing is you don't want to have any, these actually might be a little bit too, maybe we'll just shrink it up. Okay, that looks okay, but the only problem is I want these to be kind of flush. That's my only issue. So I'm trying to think about the best way, but anyway, I can do that later. Let's just push it in for now. I'm gonna clone it and just hide one away so I can like deal with this a little bit later. Or maybe at the end of the tutorial, so not everyone has to sit through it. So this is a pretty good spot for it. The only problem is it's a little bit, we want it completely circular. So I'm gonna take it off snap and then just angle it so it's completely circular. So I think that's pretty good. I might want it in a little bit deeper, and if I do, then I have to take smooth, and I think I just need to smooth this eye kind of around it. And if that doesn't work, we can use like flatten. Yeah, I think flatten works. Let's go ahead and smooth this a little bit more. I think that looks good. So now let's go ahead and take the eye. Oh, I still feel like there's still a little bit that I'm missing right here. It doesn't want to move, so I'm going to do it by force. I'm going to take move and I'm going to push it a little bit. just so we can see that whole eye. Okay. So we'll take the eye, we'll add a mirror to it, so it should be right on the other side. Ooh, they feel like they're a little far apart. Maybe just a smidge this way. We'll work that out. I think that looks better. Maybe they're a little too big. It could be a smidge too big. Puff them out a little bit more. Whoop. Come on. Gizmo. Okay, that looks good. I think that looks good. I need to shrink it a little bit more. Okay, that feels good to me. All right, so that looks good. So now let's take this mouth and we'll use our crease again. And just define it a bit more. And then maybe make it a little bit deeper at the ends. And you can smooth it out very gingerly, just to kind of get rid of that. My mouth still feels a little bit too big. Oh, you know what might be better for this? Let me undo this. Might be better for this is smoothing it out. I don't even mind if it's not smoothed out all that well. But smoothing it out and then adding a shape that's kind of like that. It kind of feels like, how can I make that shape? It's sort of a strange shape. Let's add a sphere. And let's validate it. Symmetry. Change this to vertex. Let's hit front. And then let's use the arrow, the red arrow. And we'll just expand this. Symmetry off. We can turn this back to auto. Let's remesh this. Whatever, 200 is fine. And then pivot, center, pivot, and then shrink it. We can I should have made it longer. I'm gonna make it longer. So go back to symmetry and back to vertex, and I'm gonna make it longer. Can I shrink it now? Oh, I guess I can. Okay, I think something like that is good. Let's turn that off and go back to auto. I keep doing pivot, center, pivot. I might have to voxel remesh it, but I just want to make sure the size is decent. So I'm going to bring it in front of the face. I'm going to do a quick voxel remesh at like 150. It's fine. So now I just want to make this really tiny. Oops. Make sure you don't click on anything else by accident like I always do. Okay, this little tiny mouth looks good. I'm going to use move with symmetry and push down on it. So it should just form its little tiny smile. Something like that, I think is perfect. But there is like something on the edges. So I think to do that, we'll use select mask. Let's tap front, and then we'll hit rectangle, and we'll just sort of do a rectangle in the middle. It should do both. And then for this, we can kind of like expand the size, I think. And kind of just put it like back in the middle. So we'll just kind of expand the size a little bit. Whoops, that doesn't work. That didn't work. And if we want, you can invert, and you can even retract the size a little bit. Like so. We'll get rid of this mask. And let's voxel remesh it at like 150. And then let's just smooth it out. So we still have symmetry on. We'll just kind of smooth it. If it's giving you a little trouble, you can just voxel remesh lower, maybe like 100, and then just smooth it. And it has that little tiny subtle difference in the very end. All that for that little like tiny thing, but I don't know, I just feel like you can't cut corners. Maybe rotate it a little bit. Okay, so it looks like it's still a little bit not smiley enough, so I'm gonna just pull it down. I'd like to pull it outwards a little bit. And I'm gonna take Gizmo and I'm gonna shrink it. Maybe even stretch it to get a little more length. Okay, I feel like that's too, oh, that's actually not bad. It's actually not bad. I'm going to take it off of a line so I can just bring it out from the body, maybe tilt it a little bit more. Just kind of put it in there. I think that's good. I think it would also look good with just a regular pill shape that's like that, but oh well. I think these might be a little bit like this. I can't tell which I like better. Yeah, I think they might be a little bit skinny. Okay, where are we at? Coming upon an hour. So I want to move these a little bit this way. And I kind of want to put them a little bit closer together. Okay, so next, what else is there? Oh, we have to do the little strappy thing. Okay, so for the little strappy thing, I think we'll do Taurus. Okay, what is this sphere? Oh, that's the mouth. Do a quick save. So I think we'll add a Taurus. And we'll lift it up. So let's make it really thin. I think it's this one. So we'll make it really thin. And then we'll use our gizmo to kind of position it as best we can. It looks like we need to squash it this way and maybe move it forward. Yeah, something like that. I think it's pretty good. Looks like we can squash it a little bit this way. And it might be a little high, so I think we need to tilt it. Almost like it's a little, his little hat. So I think that level, well, maybe a little bit higher for the So now let's just kind of squeeze it and we'll just try to get it as close as we can to the body before we start manipulating it. But I think that's probably all we're gonna get. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's check the size again. Size looks good, let's validate it. Take move and symmetry. And we should be able to just maneuver this so that it's right on his skin. We can take the parts that are a little too into the skin and pull them out. Maybe push this in. So ideally, I do want some contact at each point. Okay, I think that looks good. Looks like it's resting nicely. I think I want a little bit more of a curve. I make the move tool a little bit bigger when I want it to be more smooth, when I want the shapes to move more smoothly. I think that's good. So now we'll just use a cylinder. Let's add a cylinder and we'll go ahead and let's use the gizmo to bring it up forward. Let's turn snap back on. So we're just going to snap it right like that. We can make it a little bit smaller, maybe move it up a little bit. So now we're going to tap the gizmo to bring up the cylinder settings, and we can do whole. Actually, we really don't need to do whole. Yeah, let's leave it. It's going to be so small that you won't even really see it. So let's just use the gizmo and shrink it. We can validate it. So let's move it to the right in the middle. We'll move it down. We'll shrink it some more. Shrink it some more. That might be good. Maybe a little bit thinner. And then right in the middle. And I'm going to shrink it this way too. So it's not going too much into... Oh, I got to take it off snap. That's what's happening. Okay, I'll shrink it a little bit this way too. Let's take a look in the front. That looks good. I'm going to plump it out a little bit more because we still want to... I'm going to use round edge. If you don't have round edge, make sure you check out my Nomad Sculpt cheat sheet so you can make that tool real quick. Okay, fold it a little bit more. Oh, that looks bad. There we go. That looks good. So next we just have to make these two little loops. And for that, do I want to use... Yeah, let's use tube. We'll use the tube tool. And maybe we'll use curve. So we use curve, snap, and it's sort of like this. So something like that. And you might have to get rid of some of this, some of these little details. Turn snap off up there. And bring this into itself. We'll bring this into itself as well. So it looks like this one is straight. It doesn't have to be perfect with this, but that one is straight. That one comes straight down. Let's make it a little bit smaller with this little orange node. Okay, I think that looks good. Little disparity. This is like a little bit lower on mine, but I'm okay with it. I guess I could have made the eyes a little bit smaller, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's okay. So we'll mirror it. I don't think I really want to make them any smaller. Maybe a smidge. I'll take the gizmo. Maybe I'll do a little bit like that. Maybe shrink them a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So now I just want to validate those. Make sure that they're touching the body. Looks like they are. And yeah, I think he looks good. Okay, so let's do a quick save. Let's go ahead and hit our little camera. And let's go ahead and turn the reference off for now. We'll turn it back on in a second. So we'll turn the reference off. We'll switch from orthographic to perspective. Let's add view. And then just call this 1. So now we can, let's go ahead and go back to, where was it? Oh, go back to here and bring the reference image back. And we'll go to the little sun thing and we'll hit lit PBR. And then we'll go here, and I like to do, let's just select everything and change it to like a neutral color. So it can be any kind of neutral color. I usually use like a nice terracotta type color. So I usually use something like that. So, and the roughness around 0.5. So I'm just going to paint everything with that, including the things that I missed somehow. Oh, I guess all this stuff too. Oh, not the camera. So I'll paint everything that color just because it's neutral. So once I have that colored, I'm going to turn the environment off so everything is black. And then I'll add, and I'm going to do a super quick lighting setup. Really, really easy. So we turn the environment off, and then we add 1 light, and let's raise it up to about 2. Yeah, let's raise it to like about 2. Okay, I'm gonna go here and do softness. I like my shadows nice and soft. So that's 1 light. It doesn't matter where you put it. We'll put this one here for now. Let's go back to the lighting. Let's name this one key. So then we're gonna clone it, and let's just bring this light over here. Take this green and spin it this way until it's on the opposite side, the side that was in the shadow. And we'll turn this down to like 0.6 or so. So we have that. Let's rename this light fill. So let's clone this light. Let's rename it rim or edge. So we'll take this light, and actually we can just keep it in the front. So let's just move it up a little bit so we know it's a different light. Let's spin it until we can see a nice bright white rim right at the edge. So maybe something like that is good. So the light is kind of facing this way. Let's turn this up so we have a nice bright edge. Okay, so that's the rim. So then we'll take, we'll clone that one, and we'll make this one TD. And I think we'll just drag this to the other side. Maybe we'll drag it right here. So now we spin it. It's very bright. Too bright, so let's turn it down. So I just want to spin it so it's kind of like hitting a bit more of them and it's a little softer. So I think that's pretty good. But you can also spin it this way if you want it kind of coming down from above, which is kind of nice too. And you can turn it up and down. So I think that's pretty good. I want to turn the environment back on. So of course this is my environment. You can download it on my Gumroad. The link is below the video, or it's on my website, drugfreedave.com. This is one I always use for everything pretty much, but it's way too bright, so we're going to turn this down. See, this is off. We're going to turn it on just so it lightens up underneath those gets rid of the black. Okay, so next let's do a quick save. So next, let's go here and turn on, let's go here and turn on post-process. And I don't think I'll turn this up a little bit, but I'll turn these on too. But my iPad's gonna get hot with those on. So I'm using mine. You can adjust this all you want, but you can play around with these. But this is just my personal setting of what I normally use. So if you wanna pause it and take a look at what I have, you can go ahead and match that. I think that's it, yeah. Okay, so looks pretty good. I am gonna turn depth of field off so we can see the background. So now we just have to color him. Super simple. So let's take this part and let's just find the color. I'm gonna pin this on this side, which I love. So now let's just find that color. So it's like a nice pale green. Maybe a little bit more yellow. Okay, that feels about right. That feels about right. So I'm going to paint it that color. This color is FFE 48A, but you can adjust it. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. All right, so this mushroom is like a reddish color. So let's find that. So it looks like it is about there. FF7E50, maybe? Something like that. Might change it a little bit, but something like that. Make it a little bit more dull. Okay, so, and then these guys, these all together, I'm going to separate this from the mushroom. So the little bumps and these bumps are actually the same color. Wait, I don't know what this, I feel like this is just another bump. Let me find what this is. Oh, so I think it's just a random bump. Oh yeah, it's one on the back. What are you doing down there? I'm going to take all of these and this one and just join them because they're the same. So then we have, where's the other mushroom thing? Mushroom bumps. What is this? Oh, here they are. Okay, so let's take these and let's just join them together for now and see what size they are. They're 73K. So I'm gonna do a quick save and I'm gonna voxel remesh them together because these are gonna be together. So let's just voxel remesh them around 400. And I'm gonna do round edge on them a couple times. So now we can, I'm gonna try to shrink them. So we go here, mist, decimate, 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 decimate. And they still look fine. Good. So 5,000. So these are 122K. So these are definitely getting decimated. Decimate, 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 decimate. They look a little, see, they look a little jagged. I'm going to back up one. I think that's good. Maybe I'll back up again since it doesn't really matter that much. And this and this are the same color. Do we want them the same color? Yeah, they're the same color. So I'm just going to join them together. So now we can color them at the same time. So let's go ahead and add some color. and the color is like very light, pale, kind of. Looks like there's a little more red in it. So it feels like it's something like that. FFD 9AE. My mom always does stuff like that. Okay, so we have that color. The eyes are like a dark brown. They're not black, so they're just like a dark brown with a little more red in them, I think. Or they're a little more saturated. So I think they're kind of around here, which is a nice strong color. So we'll paint them. I don't know if I want them glossy. We'll just make them sort of like dots. Should the mouth be the same color? Did I get the mouth? Maybe we'll just paint that the same color. Even though the mouth is a little bit more, seems like it's a little brighter for some reason. And this, so this torus, how big is this torus? It's not big at all. The torus, the cylinder, oh, and these mirror tubes. So let's validate those. I need to see what size all of these are. It's important to see what size. Okay, so the cylinder is very small, so I'm going to subdivide it. I just want everything to be, okay, the torus is kind of small, but I don't think it's that bad. So I'm going to take these and join them, and we can probably just voxel remesh them together at like 150. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe a round edge or two. You know what? We don't even really need to do that. I don't think we need to do any of that. I think we can just do this. We'll just decimate these shapes because they're quite small. And then we'll take all of these and join them, and this will be the hat tie. You really don't see any gloss on these though. So if we're being true, then I'm just gonna bring the roughness. Yeah, I'll just add more roughness. There we go. And for this, what color do we want to make this little thing? I feel like a dull color. Kind of like that, or do we want it like a reddish color? Kind of like that, sort of like a lily pad or something. Okay, I think that looks good. raise this up a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, that's our little character. There are a few other things that we can do to kind of enhance it. So we can change everything to subsurface. So I'm gonna bring this down, the depth down, usually to like 1. So I'm gonna change all of these to subsurface. It's gonna take away that black, that really distracting black. I don't know if the mouth and stuff need it, but let's try. You just have to bring the depth down so it is not so see-through. Let's see if the eyes, yeah, the eyes a little bit. Okay, these guys do subsurface, bring it down a little bit, and then the mushroom itself can be subsurface. We'll bring that down a little bit too. Okay, good. All right, so I just want to see if the fill light can add a little bit more to the fill light and make it a little bit more dramatic. Maybe add a little warmth to it. Which is always nice. We can change the background too. If you want to make the background a little less black, maybe we'll add a little bit of a cool light to the, maybe let's see what it looks like if I add some cool to this side. Yeah, that's nice. There is something I forgot. The character has these 2 little things here, which we can do. So this is how I would do it. So I'm gonna put these, I'm gonna lower that layer. I'm gonna add a new layer and call it blush. And there's a few ways you can do it. Right now, this body is really, the number's really high. You can decimate everything too. Go through and decimate all this stuff to bring the numbers lower. Just make sure things don't get blocky. Don't do it too much. So let's see, what's the easiest way? So there's paint on. So you can use the paint tool and you can change your alpha. So first, just up the scaling. So that all that's inside the red is white. That's what you want. Pick red. Like so. So first you want to clone your paint tool. So tap on the paint tool and hit clone. And we'll do paint circle. And then it will show up down here. So now, once this is highlighted, so we're going to go to our paint tool options. So press this little icon and then press the stroke. So now we're going to change from dot to lock radius. For the alpha, you just want to, it doesn't really matter which one of these you choose, but as long as the scaling, as long as this red circle is filled with white, then it'll work. And if you wanted to, you can add other shapes and things like that. And that's what it will paint. It will paint just whatever the shape is that you put there. So, shh, quiet. So then fall off, we'll just go here, tap, and then do the straight line. And that's it for the fall off. Filter, we'll just keep it default. And then pressure, you want to turn off global settings, because if you leave this on, then whatever settings you set will be for all of the tools. So you want to make sure that you uncheck use global settings, so it's just for this tool. So then tap, just go to preset, tap this one and do the straight line on top, tap this one and do the straight line on top. So those are all your settings. And once again, just so you can have a quick look at mine. What is this? Oh, that happened. Okay, there we go. So once you have your settings, you can just tap on this and you can hit save. So then you'll have paint circle. So then you can always come back and use this tool. So now if you use symmetry and you're on this, it's just going to make the two circles like that. And it doesn't look great. We would have to like voxel remesh it up to like 1,000,000 or something. I guess I'll just show you real quick. So I'm going to save it. But if we really wanted it to look really good, you'd have to take the body and voxel remesh like really high. Like really, really high. Which is annoying. And then you can make the boxes and they'll be a little bit more clear. Something like that. Which is nice. Temperature's too hot. So yeah, that's the bad thing about this iPad. We're back. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on low power mode. I guess I'm just gonna keep it there until I sell this iPad. Low power mode. Hopefully that won't happen again. But so now I feel like the mouth I want to move up. Not twist up. Can't with this gizmo, I swear. Okay, so what was I? Oh yeah, so those things. So yeah, they look great. They look really nice. But there is something else you can do as well. You can, no, I want to keep the mouth. So let's go back to the body. We'll add a new layer. I thought I didn't add a layer for that. Oh, that's okay. Oh well. We'll just add that's okay. So let's go to the body and, oh, this is really high. Let's decimate the body because 2 million is crazy. God, I'm sweating. This decimation is taking forever. Thank you. We'll decimate again. I'm gonna save it because this is making me nervous. So I'm gonna do a quick save. All right, so let's decimate again. The circles are actually looking decent. I'm very surprised. Extremely surprised. Am I even on the right? I am. I thought they would have fallen apart by now. Preserve painting. Higher value. We'll try to preserve painting. Set this value to 0 if you don't care about the painting. I do care. Oh. I don't like moving this stuff around because there's no way to know what it was in the beginning. I think it was just at 50. Now let's decimate again. 62. So let's add, okay, so we're on a new layer. Let's use our paint thing. Let's use our little thing and we'll grab the color and then we'll just hit paint all. So it's actually not on it, it's actually on this new layer. So let's add a new layer and we'll go back to red. So we'll go back to red. We'll go to paint. We'll make the radius big. Make sure it's not on erase. Turn the intensity down. And then we'll make little blushies like that. Maybe even like a smidge here. That might be too much. And you can use Smoothie Poo. If you don't have it, just use smooth and turn the intensity all the way down. It's the same thing. But you can clone this and make that brush. And if that's confusing, then make sure you check out my Nomad Sculpt cheat sheet video. So I'm just going to try to smooth these out. They're not really smoothing, so I might try to decimate again. And they're kind of smooth a little bit, but not too much. But it still looks fine, so whatever. Now let's go to that layer, and you can turn this down until it's very subtle. So then you have like a very subtle thing as well. But I think I like, I don't know, do I like this better than the other thing? I think I might. I think I might like this a little bit better. So since I like this a little bit better, I'm just going to merge down, and then it's going to be the body. Still 323K. Okay, what's big? The bumps are big. The eyes are 78K. You can definitely decimate the eyes down a lot. The mouth is small. These are fairly small. Tie. Oh, this is kind of big. I'll decimate that once. I'll just leave it. So at least it's a little bit smaller now. So that's good. That's always good. I'm going to use smudge to kind of smudge this a little bit. I wonder if Smoothie Poo works now that it's all one layer. No, it looks like it's the same. I'll make it a little, oh, I can't, that's okay. I could always add this color and then sort of go around it, but I like it. I think it looks cute. I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. I could have put a little bit on his little arms too. That might have been a little bit cute. I'll lower the intensity a little bit. A little bit on his little arms. And yeah, good. So I'm gonna save as, just in case. Okay, I think that's officially it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the reference image off. Make sure these are under bells and whistles. But yeah, I think that's good. I'm so excited to bring this into Blender, so I'll probably record that as well. There we go. Officially done now. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out, really helps my channel out. Definitely check out my Skillshare classes. I have 2D classes in Procreate and 3D classes in Nomad Sculpt. Keep drawing, keep sculpting, and I'll see you all in the next video.